At this point, when you call yourself a rapper, yet after releasing an entire new album and completing a full tour, all people are talking about is the lawsuits you're involved in. It's truly disappointing. Someone who was once regarded as one of rap's biggest stars has now had his entire brand reduced to legal battles and controversies rather than music. Currently, Drake is doubling down on his lawsuit against his label, and rather than the narrative working in his favor, more reports are surfacing about what's really happening behind the scenes. Earlier this week, Drake and his team tried to project a win against iHeartMedia, as they were listed in the first petition he filed. Reports suggested a settlement was reached, and Drake's team attempted to spin it as a major victory. However, new information reveals that this claim was not only misleading, but outright false. Drake's fans and supporters ran with the idea that iHeart folded under pressure and admitted fault. Even Drake himself made jokes online, trying to frame it as a win. But the reality is that there was never anything to win in the first place. This was simply a petition. Additionally, emerging reports indicate that Drake did not receive any major payout, contrary to what his camp implied. Instead, iHeart provided the requested information, and when Drake saw there was nothing substantial to support his claims, both parties mutually agreed to move on. This revelation is significant because it confirms that neither iHeartMedia nor Spotify have backed up Drake's allegations regarding industry manipulation. Essentially, there is no proof that "Not Like Us" was artificially pushed to the top. If anything, the continued success of the song only reinforces its organic impact. Now, with Drake walking away from this dispute with nothing to show for it, his team's efforts to paint this as a victory seem even more desperate. Their goal appears to be convincing the public that Drake is exposing industry corruption, but the facts suggest otherwise. Instead, this entire situation is backfiring, making Drake look worse than ever. What's even more ironic is that if Drake truly wanted to investigate unfair industry practices, he would have to acknowledge that he himself has benefited from similar tactics in the past. Throughout his career, many of his songs dominated the charts despite lacking genuine cultural impact, raising questions about how they were being promoted. If he continues down this path, he risks exposing his own legacy, potentially leading fans to reassess his past success. Ultimately, Drake is now caught in a cycle of deception, legal disputes, and failed narratives. His latest move was submitting a 26-page update in his lawsuit against his label, doubling down on previous claims while attempting to use the iHeart situation to his advantage. However, as more details emerge, it's becoming clearer that he is grasping at straws. With ongoing lawsuits in Texas and New York, it's evident that Drake is making this process as difficult as possible for everyone involved. But with every new legal move, he only further damages his own reputation. Rather than accepting a fair loss in a rap battle, he's choosing to drag this issue into the legal system, desperately trying to shift the narrative in his favor. At this point, the contrast between Drake and Kendrick Lamar couldn't be clearer. While Drake is entangled in lawsuits and losing credibility, Kendrick is thriving, securing his position at the top. The gap between them is widening, and it seems unlikely that Drake will ever recover from this. As more revelations come to light, the situation for Drake is only going to get worse. But what do you think about his attempts to spin this as a win? And how do you feel about him doubling down on his legal battles despite everything that has already come to light? Let me know your thoughts. And if you want to see how Drake was further embarrassed, this time at the Oscars, check out the suggested video.